That's if I can remember where everything went. The trick when rebuilding the interior is to remember what part you took off first. That way you can do it in the same order. I'm just putting in the screen here and then the carbon surround with all the buttons behind it. After that, there's a final trim which sits on top of the dashboard and clips to the center console. Yes, center console, screen in. Next up is where the rear view mirror mounts. Now because this was a right hand drive tub, the rear view mirror is slightly different because the driver's seat's in a different position. So I've switched over the bracket to a left hand drive bracket, then I can put the roof lining in, the interior light and the sun visors in afterwards. Then, in goes the carpet. A lot of people ask why didn't I just keep the car right-hand drive because I'm in the UK, but because so many of the parts on the left-hand drive car, like the steering rack, the dashboard and the center console weren't damaged, there wasn't much point buying new ones to make it right-hand drive. So hopefully that clears it up for you guys. One interior in. Interior is in, kind of, to an extent, no seats. I'm leaving the back out because I kind of feel like these seat belts may have a code on them and I may have to take them out because, well, you can see the airbag sensor on there and we did have an airbag go in the door and the pyro fuse was gone, so potentially the seat belts could have gone, so I do not want to put any of that in to take it all back out. And now, Chris,
yes,
we're gonna do the suspension because I want to get this thing actually driving. Yeah, suspension first, then radiators. Here is all of the array of suspension. And here is where we got a lot of the suspension from. Look at this for a parts place. A breaker's yard with a 720S here. We spent most of the day stripping this car for parts, which brings us back to the shop. This, £1,700 just for that. And that was second-hand. Brand new, second-hand suspension made by Tenneco. £1,700 and it's, well, we think it's bent. I think it definitely is bent. But it's really complex, it's really expensive, and I will explain it all once we start fitting it. I'm gonna do one side, Chris is gonna do the other. Yeah, let's start bolting this thing together. First thing to go on is the lower wishbone. This is what pretty much holds the whole of the suspension. Once that's bolted to the rear frame, I've got this rear tie rod. This is adjustable to get the track on the rear wheels perfectly straight, so we'll have to get it aligned afterwards. Then, in goes the drive shaft. The drive shaft just pushes into the gearbox, and after that, we're ready for the top wishbone. This also bolts to the rear frame of the car with 4 bolts, and this has camber adjust on it. Once that's fitted, we can move on to the wheel hub. Not forgetting to put the wheel speed sensor in the new hub. The drive shaft will then slot into the wheel hub and the bottom ball joint will slot into the lower wishbone. After that, the suspension strut and spring. This bolts to the top of the frame and then slots in the lower wishbone. With a little bit of difficulty, as you can see here. That's rough.
it's going in though.
Once that's in, we're on to the final stages. Bolting the tie rod to the wheel hub and then connecting the top ball joint to the wheel hub as well. This has a lot of adjustment on for camber, making the wheel tilt in or outwards. Again, we're just going to put it in its neutral position for now, but of course afterwards we're going to need a 4-wheel alignment. It is step by step starting to look a little bit more like a car now. Well, to me at least, but there's a few small problems.